Well, joining us right now is Lindsay's dad. Michael Lohan is here, and author of Living the Truth, psychiatrist Dr. Keith Ablow also joins us this morning.
And just lightening the mood just for a second. Lohan or Lohan?
However you wish, actually, but it's Lohan. It's
Lohan. Okay,
yes.
there we go. We got the confirmation from the horse's mouth. It's your daughter. You're watching the pictures that we're showing. You have had it's been a rough relationship for you, especially in the last few years, and you've received a lot of criticism. We don't have to rehash all of that. How is it for you to see what your daughter is going through and not be able to talk with her?
It's troubling, it's overwhelming, and it's heartbreaking. As I said to you in the back, people can criticize me all they want for trying to reach out to Lindsay in the press like this, but when someone loses a child and they go put out an Amber Alert, or they try to, they have posters all over the place, that's their means of doing it. This is the only means of me trying to reach out to Lindsay and trying to help her.
Hoping that she may see you on this show then. I mean, this is kind of a form of an Amber Alert in your way?
Well,
your own
if
personal?
you want to call it that, sure. I mean, but at the same time, when I do reach Lindsay and I'm able to sit down with her and people bring down these walls, this is over. This media, this Amber Alert, so to speak, is done.
If you can just get her back for a moment. If you saw her today in Los Angeles, I know you can't leave the state because of your own legal issues.
Exactly.
You can't go out there, but if she shows up here, would she have a meeting with you? Let's say she walked in right now, would she talk with you?
Well, she did before she went into the rehab, and she did prior to that.
But it's 2.5 years, Michael, since
I've seen her.
Since you've seen her.
Yes, yes. Well, that's my fault. I was away. I wouldn't expect Lindsay or my other children to come to jail after I did what I did. I mean, that's kind of embarrassing. Your father driving into a pole at 80 miles an hour, and being drunk, no less.
When you watch what's going on, as an outsider who doesn't know Lindsay Lohan, but you watch what's going on, and she's obviously troubled. And I've always said, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend you, you're sitting right here, but I sit there and I go, well, her family, her parents, it seems like it was just chaos around her from the time she was a little kid. What can she have in her life from this point on that's going to help her out? It's going to stop enabling her.
The right people around her.
Are you the right person now, do you think?
Absolutely. Now, absolutely. I've been down that road. I've been there and done that. And I counsel people constantly in Teen Challenge, the program I work for, which is the most unbelievable program there is out there. It's long-term, it's faith-based, and it works. It's under the radar, they don't charge anyone, and you know what? They have the highest percentage of recovery of any program in the country, but no one knows about them.
Well, it does seem like this relationship's now happening on television. That's the only way you can probably get to her. So do you want to say something to her this morning? There's a very good chance she'll see this.
I will not stop trying to be there for her and to help her and turn her life around until we finally do that. And I just hope that she does see the light, so to speak, and reach within herself and just live by the truth and come to a state of contrition where she knows what she's done and how we're all accountable for what we've done.
How will she know that she can trust you because you've let her down in the past?
Juliet, the picture painted by people out there is so far from the truth it's not funny. And all I'm asking people to do is just look at how it was when we were a family and look at how things were when we were torn apart. You never heard any of this or saw any of this while we were together.
How far back is that? Is that good, loving family?
When Lindsay reached the pinnacle of her career and so many people came out of the woodwork and they wanted to join onto her success and latch onto her like parasites, and I hate to say that, but that's what they did.
Well, no, it's true. I mean, you can...
Was that 10 years ago?
No, that was right after Mean Girls.
Oh,
it was recent. It was 2005, and I put my foot down, and unfortunately, I put it down on the wrong toes and in the wrong way.
Well, give me an example of what your life was like then before Mean Girls.
We were family. We traveled together. We did everything together. I was back and forth. I was bi-coastal every week. I was in L.A. 3 days a week and in New York 4 days a week just to be there for Lindsay and my family.
But you take responsibility now for what has happened, though, don't you?
Sure.
Because I don't know what it would be like for you to listen to the things that happen and what people are saying on television. Just last night on the O'Reilly Factor, Dennis Miller was on. This is what he had to say. He really blames you.
Well, you know what? I blame myself, and I'm not going to cast stones at...
Just a second, Mike. Okay. Do we have it queued? Let's roll it.
Her parents were any more low rent, they'd be a spring break destination. And anytime your parent says they party with you, that is its own form of child abuse. There's got to be somebody down at the end of the hall in the far bedroom where the kids are afraid of. And when your mother starts using the word party as a verb about her kid, that's absolutely crazy.
No.
Well, what do you know? I mean, obviously, you've had a contentious relationship with Dina, but you've spoken with her recently, or you've met with her recently?
2 weeks ago, Friday, I met with Dina in my attorney's office, and I said, enough is enough. I said, I don't care what you think this is all about. This is about our children. It's not about us as husband and wife. We have to be there as parents.
When you hear something like Dennis say that, is it your fault what she's going through?
Part of it's my fault. Listen, I can't speak for Dina, and I'm not going to put myself in her position. And it still hurts me when people criticize her. She's got to come to a point in her life and she's got to be on the same page I'm on. And hopefully she'll learn like I have. But you know what? I never went out there and partied with Lindsay. You didn't see me out at clubs and bars and restaurants. And maybe...
Well, you see Dina out at clubs and bars and restaurants.
But Dina was her manager, and Dina was there under...
But Dina's out there... I mean, look, again, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't be saying these things because I don't know what's going on between the two of them. But it just seems like, I mean, Lindsay's gone through rehab, yet she's out at the clubs. I mean, with the mom, with Dina sitting there, I just think that just doesn't seem crazy to you.
And I agree. On the surface, I agree with that. I agree how it looks. But you know, when we were a family and Dina was out with Lindsay, there was nothing wrong going on. Since I've left, if something has gone on in a different forum and in a different way, then I'm not in a position. Look, I do not cast stones. I'm not going to judge anyone else, and I'm not going to say anything unless I've been there myself and seen it with my own eyes. And that's the problem. People want to believe what's put out there, and they just can't do it because if they knew the truth, believe me, their heads would spin and their jaws would drop.
Well, what is the truth? Why is she hurting? Why is Lindsay's hurting?
Around the wrong people. She doesn't have her family there for her. She needs to get out of that element, out of LA, not in New York City, but on Long Island with her brothers and sisters and her mother and her father.
Dr. Keith Ablow, jump in on this.
I'll jump in. Listen, I listen to people for the truth, right? And so when you say that your daughter didn't visit you in prison after you were arrested, and that, look, you screwed up, so it's your fault. That's just not the case. Daughters don't not visit their fathers in prison just because they had an episode of a DUI. So why didn't she visit you?